Gentlemen, meeting come to order, please. Do we have a member that would lead us in prayer? Thank you.
Billy the Kid. I'll sing you a true song of Billy the Kid. Sing of the desperate scenes out in Mexico long time ago, when a man's only chance was his old 44. Billy the Kid was a very young lad. In old Silver City, he went to the bat. Way out west, with a gun in his hand, at the age of 12 years, he killed his first man.
Grandma won't know if it'd be all right. I said, Lisa won't have to have slept all the way through everything.
Well, Mexican maidens play guitars and sing a song about Billy, the boy bandit king. However, his young manhood had reached its setting, had I not known his pistol for 21 men. On the same night, when poor Billy died, said to his friends, I'm not satisfied.
What's he doing?
21 men I have put bullets through. Sheriff Pat Garrett must make 22.
See if that did.
That seemed to be a pretty good tape back there. I can just leave that one on there. Y'all just leave that one, use that one. Yeah. No, I don't know what's on it. Just throw it right on over, whatever.
Cooked in the same pot.
Put it in there.
And apples. And then take a piece
Hey,
of
Lisa.
take a piece of gingerbread and have carrot. That smell of it. Told
Just
him
a
what it was.
mushroom. No, it was good. It's all
What did it look like?
It looked
Hey,
like
Lisa.
coffee and put on gingerbread.
That doesn't smell of cabbage, isn't it?
I didn't know.
Look at my sweetheart standing up. Mama has a big girl who's so smart.
Oh, level's
She's
about
still
right.
crawling any night.
Huh?
Though she's crawling.
Trying to watch it north.
See, I'm a sweet girl. Even though
And she was real good.
Even though Mama says I'm not, I'm really sweet. She was very good. We never from her. I don't see who you see me. Yes.
It's just innocent.
Buffalo gals, won't you come out tonight? Won't you come out tonight? Won't you come out tonight? Buffalo gals, won't you come out tonight and dance by the light of the moon? I dance with the gal with a hole in the stocking and her toe kept a knocking and her heel kept a rocking. I'll dance with the gal with a hole in the stocking. I'll dance by the light of the moon. Buffalo gals, would you come out tonight? Would you come out tonight? Would you come out tonight? Buffalo gals, would you come out tonight and dance by the light of the moon? Buffalo gals, would you come out tonight? Would you come out tonight? Would you come out tonight? Buffalo gals, would you come out tonight and dance by the light of the moon? I dance with the gal with a hole in the stocking. rocking, and her toe kept a knocking, and her heel kept a rocking. I'll dance with the gal with a hole in her stocking. I'll dance by the light of the moon. Buffalo gals, would you come out tonight? Would you come out tonight? Would you come out tonight? Buffalo gals, would you come out tonight and dance by the light of the moon? Quieter, greatest marshal of the West. Quieter, as a hero, people loved him best.
Law belong to a union. I have talked with our counselor and our attorney on this subject, and he said we would more than likely at that point, if we are forced into it, ignore the law. Let them make their charges and then carry it through court to Supreme Court, where this type of law has been already declared unconstitutional in 3 states. We had an executive meeting last night, and it was the unanimous opinion of the executive committee that we would not go along with it, that we would stop work before we did. And I now ask for a motion from the floor on the same subject from you. Will you have that written down, please? Yes. All right, would you write that down?
Do not accept. State the motion.
In other words, would you repeat your motion, Mr. Pettit?
I would make a motion that this organization go on record as opposing the joining of the fire, police, and fire department. Unanimous.
Do I have a second to that motion? Do you have a second for it, sir? Your name, please, sir? Turpin? Second. I now open for the floor for discussion on it, gentlemen. Yes, sir.
Just for clarification, is this keep us from going under one department head or keep us from performing police duties?
In other words, it's my opinion that the motion was to keep us from performing police duties.
In the event we went under one department head, there would be no opposition to that.
They're always strike them when they was, walk out, let them never forget. We need a point police officer.
Let's discuss that.
All right, sir. In other words, it is open for discussion. By the way, we have a gentleman outside. You all know him, Mr. Gene Bishop, that would like to come in. Do we have an invitation for him? Will you concur? Come in, brother. Will we hold our discussion and let this gentleman read a resolution to us? Table the discussion. I have a motion for tabling. All right, all in favor of tabling? The vote tabling is carried until this is clear.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be back to speak to you again. Last time I spoke to you, I spoke as an individual. This time I come to you a little more of official capacity. This is a resolution that the 5th Region JC Local President's Council sent to the Mayor Alling and the Board of Fire Masters and everybody else concerned. The 5th Region JCs comprise about 19 clubs, some 900 people, and they passed this resolution unanimously. I'd like to read it to you now. It's from the 5th Region JC's Local President's Council to the Honorable Iving Alling, Mayor of the City of Atlanta, and the Atlanta firefighters. Whereas it has become publicly apparent that the firefighters of Atlanta are presently dissatisfied with the current rate of compensation and working conditions received by them in their capacity as firefighters, as evident by their recent cessation of employment duties, and whereas the 5th Region Local President's Council recognize that this is a problem that has been in existence for a considerable period of time and without solution, and whereas our organization recognizes the need of arriving at an amiable solution to this problem in order to prevent further work stoppage, which is repeated could considerably be of longer duration and greater danger to the citizens and property of the city of Atlanta. Now, therefore, let it be resolved and respectfully recommended by the 5th Region JC's Local President's Council as follows. 1. That the mayor of the city of Atlanta encourage a special committee recently appointed to negotiate immediately with the representatives of the Atlanta firefighters. That the said appointed committee and the representatives of the Atlanta firefighters proceed immediately with the negotiations until such time as satisfactory and acceptable working conditions and rates of compensation can be agreed upon. Further, that in the event of agreement is reached calling for an increase in rates of compensation and of said employees, that the city of Atlanta take immediate steps to incorporate said increase as soon as it is legally possible. That such other and future steps as to this immediate committee can seem proper to take immediately to the issue of the public of cessation of employment and the city firefighters shall not again occur. Respectfully submitted by this day of July 1966 by Bob Gurley, President of 5th Region JC's Local President's Council, and also signed by me as a state representative of the National Director of the Georgia JCs. It was sent to the Mayor Allison. Gentlemen, this letter was handed to me today. It was addressed to me. It says, Dear Gene, as we have discussed several times, I would like to reassure you that I expect to work out a plan that will supplement our firemen, police officers' salary schedule $100 a month. It has long been my belief that the firemen and police officers who are responsible for protecting the lives of our citizens have not been paid an adequate salary. When I am elected governor, I certainly expect to move in this direction. With kindest regards, as ever, Mr. Ellis Arnold. He asked me to read this to you today, if I possibly could. I'll read it today.
Thank you, Mr. Bishop. We appreciate it very much. Gentlemen, it seems that we do have help. All we have to do is merely ask for it. Now, in other words, if I'll have a motion asking for the return of the tabled motion. Who made the motion to pull from the table? Name, please. Who? Smith of 12. Seconded by? Vote. Those in favor? Vote carried. The motion is back before the floor. Will you read the motion, Mr. Secretary?
Motion that this organization go on record as opposing the combining of police and fire departments.
And you were at point of discussion, sir.
Yes, I'd just like to clarify, if we're going to oppose acting as policemen, or oppose going under one department head, or oppose both of them, we should clarify the motion, what is permission.
Would you like to make an amendment to the motion then, sir?
It can be amended to the effect that, we clarify the motion that, we would refuse to, act as policemen, and then we will call on, and, would oppose any, move to put both the police department and fire department under one head, such as, safety.
That's your amendment. Do I have a second to that amendment? All right, now read the amendment back.
Let me get the clarification of this. First, who is the gentleman that made the motion? Watwood. Would you state your motion again, please?
He's not, he's a,
I didn't quite get it.
We would, refuse to serve as a policeman if called upon. We oppose any move to, put the fire department under the same head as the police department, the police and fire department with one deal.
And oppose putting the fire department and the police department under one head.
One chief.
thank you, I certainly appreciate this, sir. I'd like very much, if possible, to have a copy of that one. Thank you, sir. All right, Mr. Secretary, you caught up?
And who seconded the motion? Right.
Just a second, got one back here. All right,
Powers number 10.
right?
I'm opposed to fireman acting as policeman and policeman acting as fireman. Both of them.
Yes, sir?
Ask you number 4, what precedent is there been set in any major city that, this has ever occurred before? My knowledge, we never have.
Chattanooga.
It has two precedents. In other words, it has precedent because the underwriters has a special bulletin out, bulletin number 300, dealing with this problem. As far back as 1961 and as far back as 1953. Now, I don't know of any large city of Atlanta's size that has tried it, but I do know that it has been tried in Raleigh, North Carolina, where it was a miserable flop. Yes, sir.
Even though with these, we've passed these things, it still means that we will definitely not perform our police department if they had to fireman capacity.
Why, certainly.
And the same in reverse.
We would carry on our duties as we've always done. Gentlemen, do you understand the motion that's before you? Is there any more discussion on it? Question? All those in favor, raise your hand. All those opposed, please. Motion is carried. That was the amendment. That was the amendment, I beg your pardon. All right, in other words, we now come to the motion. Read the motion complete now.
The motion, original motion, that this organization go on record as opposing the combining of police and fire departments. We voted on the amendment, which was that we refuse to serve as policemen when called upon and oppose having police and fire department under one department head.
Well, you know what they're voting on that first one, we told y'all to vote again, I think we'll have some discussion on that coming under one head, and it is somewhere where they have maybe a safety director, and we wouldn't be affected, I don't think it's too much of our, but we've got a right to vote the department head. I mean, anywhere we have maybe a.
You can have a Department of Safety with two chiefs under him, and you would answer to the chief of your department.
We would still be under the same head, and I can't see where we would have the right to, it might be to our benefit if they had that. I can't see on that amendment, what, made the motion, maybe that should be stricken out, you can discuss
Hold it, gentlemen. Let's get one at a time on the floor. Finish your statement, please, sir. All right, so you rise and tell us your point, sir.
Well, what I was thinking about was just taking out the police chief and the fire chief and just having one department head over the whole thing. We've got one head right now, he sits up at City Hall. But, we still have a police chief and we still have a fire department. But, being under one head, and, no answerable person at the head of the fire department, no answerable person at the head of, the police department, it would just still be the same thing as acting under orders of the policeman or vice versa. The policeman acting under orders of the fire.
Thank you. Yes, sir?
I think this is a political move on their part, and I think that's the reason they ought to vote. I don't think, I can't see them any good if you come of it. They might could give you 5 good reasons, well, I believe we can give them 10 good reasons that it wouldn't work out.
650 good reasons.
Gentlemen, you must realize this is a rumor. It is not a fact yet. We are merely trying to get the thought of the body as to what action we will take when it comes about. We haven't been bit yet. Okay? It's a technical move on our part. It is not a factual move. Any more discussion, gentlemen? The amendment has been passed. We will now move on to the proposal. You have heard the proposal read. It has been made and seconded. Is there any more discussion on it? Those in favor, please raise your hand. Down hands. Those opposed? The motion is carried. The next order of business, gentlemen, is the Georgia State Firemen's Association. I know some of you have heard the name. I know some of you have paid your $1 every year. But I don't believe very many of you have seen the Constitution or the bylaws of that organization. And I don't believe too many of you realize that it has the Georgia State Pension, control of that Georgia State Pension as one of its functions, or that it has the control or advisory control of the Georgia Institute of Technology, Fire Institute of Technology, as one of its functions. Heretofore, in other words, your votes have been cast by delegates I don't think you voted for. They assume their right to vote for you. I'm not positive of this, but I know I have never voted on a delegate to represent me at Jekyll Island under the auspices of the Georgia Firemen's Association. This year we have received a proposed bylaw change, and we received it in our stations around July the 15th, which is about 5 days beyond the date that a reply could be written to it this year, proposing that to change the voting procedure to where the chief of a department or his designated delegate would have the voting power of 10 men. And the other men, if they so desired, could get together and cast the other 9 votes that were available to the city if they had 100 members of the organization. Or if the city or the member department so desired, it could cast all your votes. This amendment and some of the proposed bylaws was under the authorship of Judge Dwyer. But anybody that reads the article knows that Judge Dwyer may have typed it out, but it didn't come from him. Because I don't believe any judge in the state of Georgia would think so little of the individual rights to vote as to prepare such a paper. The executive committee has suggested that we send 3 members to this convention and arm them with your right to vote. And the only way they can have your right to vote is for you to sign your name on a piece of paper that we have mimeographed up here. We will give 1 copy to each station steward. Do not sign this piece of paper unless you are a member in good standing. That means this year's dues in the Georgia State Firemen's Association have been paid. And we will try and go down in the Jekyll Island for 2 reasons. We'll send a committee for 2 reasons. One, to prevent this proposed bylaws change from taking place. And second, to see how many more new members we can secure for the AFFU. Yes, sir. This union is going to send them down. They're going to use union funds to go. I told you the second reason for them going, and it's more important than the first one, sir. Do you agree? Yes, it's August 11th and 12th, something of that nature. The executive board has asked that we send these 3 members, and it'll have to be done from a motion by you. The 3 members were chosen for their knowledge of the AFFU, their ability to sell it, and their ability to stay sober while they were trying to sell it in convention. That would be Captain Martin. This is with your concurrence, gentlemen. I am not forcing. That would be Captain Martin, F.E. Pittard, and L.T. Stanley. If you make a motion for those, please give me your name, sir. Rockwell from number 24. Do I have a second on it, gentlemen? I have a second. Do I have a discussion on it, gentlemen? Yes, sir.
Members are not members of the State Farm Association, which I actually won. I would like to abstain.
You have another interest in that thing too, my friend. We're paying for it. We have another interest. You have just as much interest, yes.
Hasn't this been done before by the
It
union?
has been done by the 134, but I'm sure they never asked your permission to do it. Don't think so. I think this has always been held in Jekyll Island. Yes, sir. Right, sir. Brother, that's what we're going to try and break and make it a 1-vote, 1-man situation. Either that or we will get out of it. You follow me? That's what we're trying to do this year. We'll either make it a democratic organization to represent us as firemen, or it can become a chief's organization and they can have it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, they do. Yes, sir, it will. Do you have any idea of what we would do, sir? I think your thinking's right along with ours, sir. You've heard it, you have a motion, and you have a second, the discussion. Do I have any more discussion? Question? All right, gentlemen, in other words, I have a question. I have the question on the floor, please. Therefore, all in favor will raise your hand, please. Down hands. Those opposed? I have one in opposition. The motion is carried. Gentlemen, in other words, that committee will be primarily trying to serve this organization's interest. But it will not fail in its obligation to the members of the Georgia State Firemen's Association who signed this piece of paper. Yes, sir. I have just stated, sir, if they do not, there'll be a hell of a lot less members in the 5th District. Because I personally will drop mine and recommend to you that you drop yours. I have another piece of business that was passed on by your executive board and asked concurrence from you at this time over the name of your president. The business of collecting data and processing for this negotiation has required all of my time. It has required the efforts of, I would say, 6 to 8 other men, nearly full-time. I cannot give to the organization everything that I should be given to it. Captain Martin is in a bind constantly from the demands on him. So we ask for one more man to push the committees, serve as the chairman of the committees, keep the committees working. And we ask that you make him an administrative vice president of this organization. You all know him and you know the amount of work that he has put into it already. And I ask that
I've been attempting for some time to get this recorder to properly record my daughter's voices. I believe that I finally hit upon the problem, and this is merely a test to ascertain if I have come to that end.
for Mr. L.T. Stanley, and I'll need a motion from the floor to carry it. Mr. Jones from number 25 makes the motion that we nominate or vote on Mr. L.T. Stanley as an administrative vice president. And it's seconded by. Is there any discussion on this, gentlemen? Question. His duties, as I explained, to form these committees and keep these committees going. Our Constitution and Bylaws Committee, which is working hard, it needs consolidation and coordination with others. Our newspapers committees, every type, we've got to have a committee in the world. Yes, sir. If he so desires.
Well, last night we appointed Sergeant Brett as membership chairman, number 17. He'll be the membership chairman, and he'll channel everything to him from now on.
Gentlemen, we have become a union of terrific strength in very short order. I don't know if you realize just how short a time we have come as far as we have come. Our constitutions and bylaws and our election procedure are in the making. Within the near future, we shall come under, I hope, the trusteeship of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters. At that time, there will be elections held. As soon as a trustee, to dissolve the trusteeship, you would have to hold elections. This is all in the future. But until that time, we've got to operate. Yes, sir.
You say the Constitution and bylaws are in the process of being made. Last I heard, the stewards were supposed to be on that committee. I hadn't heard anything further.
Sir, if you will check with Captain Carroll, he is the chairman of that committee. Will you please? Yes, sir.
They are more or less finished and the process of being combined and put in order. It would be read, I was hoping the next week it would be approved.
Fine, thank you. All right, gentlemen, I have a motion. I ask for a vote on it. All those in favor of this motion, please signify by raising your hands. All in opposition? I have one opposed. Motion is carried. Gentlemen, I have been asked,
Point of order.
well, take your point.
We're sending delegates to the convention of the Georgia State Firefighters Association. We didn't designate the amount of monies to be spent or to be used by the members of this, committee. I'd like for it to be, thrashed out here as to the amount they will be allowed to have or take with them.
Gentlemen, let's get it one at a time, please. Yes, sir.
When are they supposed to go down
It'll be in August, 10th, 11th, or 12th, 11th, 12th, and 13th. I'm not sure.
there?
But-
I'll have the executive board appointed and find out how much it's gonna take, but we've got no idea how much it's gonna.
Well, the executive board has looked into that, and we thought we'd bring it back to you boys and let you kick it around a little bit, whether you want to send them second rate or first rate. Yes, sir. I don't believe either one of the three men involved, and I don't think you do, or will try and throw us a curve. But that's still your opinion, and I want to hear from you.
It's not a matter of, a man going down there and blowing $4,000. Hell, we haven't got enough.
No, we don't want to do that.
But, as far as bookkeeping is concerned, and hell, we're a union now, and this type of thing should be done, just to protect the man that goes down there as well as the union. I mean, it's not about
I understand.
distrusting the man that goes down there.
Appreciate your point, it's well taken. Will somebody give me a figure? Yes, sir.
Well, the executive board meeting last night, the finance, Bennett was there and we kicked this thing around. So they voted, the executive board voted last night to, give this committee $300 that go down there and bring back.
For the three.
Of course, receipts for everything that we use the money for. That's what the executive board, voted last night. Now, whether it takes that much, or whether it takes more, we don't know. But that's what the executive board voted.
Hold it, gentlemen.
Now, I'll tell you, I'll be frank with you, as far as the Georgia State law, Georgia State Firemen's Association, I know very little more than any of them. My primary concern going down there is to solidify firemen in the state of Georgia. Now, that's what I'll be going for. Now, I'll be on the convention floor and making any speech that this executive board or this body wants me to make, and try to get recognition for this organization. However, my one aim is to pull the president of the union from Macon, Georgia, into my room one night, and if it takes a state to do it, then I want to do it that way. I want to talk to as many firemen as I possibly can in the 3 days. Jack makes the speeches. I write one every now and then, but he'll make the speeches down there, and I'll take this boy off, and he and I'll go out and talk this thing over, and I'm going down there to sell this union. I want the state of Georgia to be an alliance. I want this thing to come to big enough, whether it be the state, the United States, or whatever it is, but we're primarily interested in selling this union over the state of Georgia. We'll try to contact a man from every county. It's gonna be a big job, but that's what I think the executive board, wanted primarily for me to do, because as far as, Leonard's got some speeches on this other thing, and, but my primary interest is selling this union right here. We're big, we're strong, we're united, we're the biggest, the most united, the most organized group in the state of Georgia. We're gonna show them we are, and we're gonna solicit their support. That's what, in other words, the opposing vote back there, I know why it is, because you're not a member, I understand that, you're not a member of the Georgia State. However, let me assure you that our primary interest. We're going down there we're gonna use this as headquarters, wherever it is, wherever the Georgia State thing is, I'm gonna use it as headquarters. But while they're making those long-winded speeches, I'm gonna try my best to get the president or some other local down there back on the back row with me. I don't give a damn what they're talking about. That's what they're trying to sell this.
Way back here, he was up first, gentlemen. No, no, please.
Oh, my goodness, I think it'll take at least 500, they might try to pull back.
Thank you, sir. Way back at the back. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Hold it, gentlemen, please. Let's hear each other out.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the recommendation of the executive committee, the money that is allocated for the delegate, with the stipulation that all unused money be returned to the union treasury.
I have a motion and I have a second. Hold it, you're getting ahead of the secretary.
We had 2 or 3, 4 motions back here, and
Yeah.
I didn't hear any seconds to it. Is this the only motion that there was a second to that this man
Let me
said?
request something before you second this motion. I think it'll clarify that. In the executive board session, was met with $300 plus over and above with receipts showing what it went for, to take care of this thing first class.
Well, you notice I didn't state a figure, I said the
Yeah.
recommendation.
The executive board and I was there, I'm a temporary member. Until we get up $5 and y'all pick your better people, then out here. But it's $300 start, plus whatever it takes to sell this thing first class, with the, receipts that have been spent brought back to. And the executive members that are going, have been clarified here to go, will keep in mind always the financial status of the AFF-I.
Is that a motion?
No, sir.
No, that was to
Just
clarify the motions that were being made to an amount. Now, they have the amount of 300 plus. So, if you wanna go above that, set a limit to what they can spend.
Clarify that. I made a motion that we approve the recommendation of the executive committee of the money to be carried to this convention, with the stipulation that all unused money that is carried is returned to the union treasury.
That's second.
All right, you have a motion and a second. All right, Mr. Pettit. No, you raised your hand. Mr. Smith.
Is there a definite figure on how much money we can spend? I understand $200 plus, I think it's so bad.
Well, you'll have to give it to me.
Got a motion and a second to be carried first before, going to the other.
All right, beg pardon. In other words, I'll carry this motion through then in point of order. Question? Well, you tore it up that time, didn't you? Read the motion, Mr. Secretary.
I reworded your motion.
Oh, my God.
Well, he reworded it too, so I had to. That recommendations of the executive board for expenses to Georgia State Firemen's Association be approved, and unused monies to be returned to treasurer of this organization. Does that suit you? All right.
You have a second to that.
What's the gentleman's name now? The first Askew. Number 4.
Just a second, we'll get around it.
Jackson, number 1. All right, gotcha.
I have a question on this motion, gentlemen. Do I have it? Didn't? No, I beg your pardon. Your position, sir.
I get back to the point, they give the figure, they were gonna put out, getting out the portion of this thing. They were just sitting in a room, they don't know how much.
That's for sure.
We don't know how much it's gonna take to go down there. They wanna go down there first class. Why not table this motion until next week? And in the meantime, put some investigation on how much it's gonna take. Come back.
The executive board knows how much the rooms are. I mean, that's already been, brought out. That's what $300 came to. And I
let me say one thing in defense of the 3 minutes going down there. I've heard a lot, and that's one thing, last night, I'm not overly anxious to do it, because I've heard men say, well, you send those fellas down there and they stay drunk. Well, I'm going one time. And if I don't come back with something constructive, you can get you another boy. I'll tell you that now. Because I'm going down there for one thing, and one thing alone. I'm gonna have my vacation before I go down there. I'm going down there for this union, and I'll assure you that. If I don't produce, you won't have to fire me. I'll come down. Because I'm going down there for one thing. That's to sell this union right here, just like I've tried my damn best to sell it all over this city. I've sold it in this city. It's never, not I, we. We've sold this thing in this city. Let's sell it in Macon and Columbus and Savannah. That's all I'm doing down there. If I don't come back with something constructive, son, I might get back to back room one while. Well, not, but, if it's not constructive, you don't worry about me, because I've already said, I'll sit that son going down there and he's laying out on the street drunk and all that. I'm not gonna be a part of that, gentlemen, I'll tell you that now. I've never been a part of that. The only thing I'm going for, like I say, is corner these boys off and get an appointment with them, let them come up here and visit us, we'll visit them, and let's get this thing moving. That's gonna stay quiet,
Yes, sir.
we don't vote us out legislation.
Serve time,
I know it's pushing us,
and
John.
it's now. If we table this until next week, come up with.
If you make a motion to table, I'll have to ask for votes, so that's all there's to it.
Would it be in order to?
If you make a motion to table, I can't refuse you, sir. Make a motion to table if you want.
Yes, I make a motion to table.
You make a motion to table. I have a motion to the table before the floor. All in favor of tabling this motion? Make point of order. Let me hear the point of order. Who called for the question? He did not, he says. Therefore, in other words, huh? He must have, but I can't locate him. Therefore, I have a motion to table this I have a point of order to table this motion. Those in favor of tabling, raise your hand. Point of order. Sir? It was seconded, wasn't it? No, it was, the table was, all right. I have to have a second for tabling, right. I have a motion to table, and I have a second to that motion. Those in favor of tabling, raise your hand. (11) for tabling. Those opposed? I'm sorry, sir, it is not tabled. Mr. Smith?
Well, I understand that they go to juggle the figures around and came up with about $300. So, I was gonna make a motion that we send $500.
I have a motion on the floor at $300, and you can amend that motion, but I don't believe that we could just state them. For the 300 plus? Yes, sir.
We got a man sitting right next to you, spent all his long time to check him out. All right, he'll give you a good idea if you just listen to him.
All right, gentlemen, please, we've got to work it out, and we can't work it out among ourselves. Yes, sir.
Well, you've already got a motion for executive commission, $300, and then about over as long as they got receipts. Well, you've got it right there. Give them $300, use the receipts, and bring them back to you. If there's any money left, they turn it back in. If there's any more coming out, then they give you receipts and you reimburse them. That's all you need. You don't need to make $500 or $1,000 figure. You got $300 worth of it. Just go from there.
I agree with you. Yes, sir.
I'd like to go along with that to clear this thing up. This is past when the delegate sent us, he would give us some money. He's done what he Conwell pleased with. If you want to buy electric, you want to lay it with a woman, whatever you want it done, he's done it. The answer is no one. But the men that's going, they are instructed and charged to bring back receipts to show the every red cent is spent, what it's spent for. So once we worry about how it's spent, we're gonna have receipts to show.
All right. Yes, sir. Gentlemen, please. Gentlemen, please. All right, you call for a question. Gentlemen, may I clarify the situation now? We've had motions and back motions and 3 motions and 4 motions. May I clear there and come back to the motion originally made by the executive board? If I have the show of hands on that, please. Those in favor of that? Down hands. Those opposed, please. Therefore, in other words, we'll vote on the motion from the executive board. Please read the original motion again.
Original motion. The recommendations of executive board for expenses to Georgia State Firemen's Association.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Question on it. Gentlemen, those in favor, please signify by raising your hands. Those opposed, please. The motion is carried. Gentlemen, I am not trying to railroad anything on you. This stuff is being studied and studied hard in the executive board by people you know. In other words, it's no stranger to you, to try and give it a decent approach. Now, I realize that every man here has the right to speak his mind. And as long as we can keep it going that way, we'll have an organization. I don't want to make you be quiet. Speak up. Mr. Pettit.
Chairman, I would like to make a recommendation on this, the Secretary of the Inspection to write a letter to the Credentials Committee of the Convention State of the 3 delegates have been elected by this organization and the authority of this body to cast their vote in the form of that date.
All right, sir.
It might save us some trouble. There might be a time limit for authorizing your delegates. There's something to get my
Thank you, sir. We will do. That wasn't in the form of a motion, it was a form of recommendation. It will be taken care of. Gentlemen, it has come to our attention that a man in the last promotional series at number 27s, they didn't have a qualified man. And they had to take a man from another company and put him in there. For God's sakes, when they give you these examinations, when they come up for promotional examination, every man from this organization will take it. Get off you can and take it. Don't let them promote somebody else over you because he run up and took the examination. And it has been proposed that we run schools in this union for promotional examination. Just like they do in the electricians' unions and the plumbers' unions and everything. If we're going to make this darn thing, our men have got to know the answers. Yes, sir. We'll find one. We'll find one. He's still mad about an 8th bed. Yes, sir. Gentlemen, listen to the man.
He's standing there and almost
I believe so.
All right, why not make that thing every year or something? I'm just now about 3 months on it, then I gotta wait 2 years before I can even think of it happens. Why not have it every year? Then, we're getting all young men on the block now, look like that way then. Why not have it every year where, these new men coming off with just cancel that thing. Then we'll have a problem come up like this. This is gonna come up again.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Gentlemen, in other words, what you've heard is a common complaint of the procedures of the promotion procedure of our fire department. Heretofore, in other words, we've had no contract, we've had no union, we've had nobody to speak for us, and it's just now beginning to crack the ice. We've all agreed that we're not going to work very much longer without a contract. And contracts cover such procedures as that. There's no use talking about it now because we can do anything about it now. We cannot penalize or fuss at the department for using a procedure. It's being used for years, and we have never made an effort to change. Is this man? He was a duly qualified man, and they had the right to pick him. They didn't have to go pick somebody else. They had the right to pick him for that. But the silent treatment that you gentlemen have been using in several stations has proved to be one of the most effective weapons that's ever been used in the fire department. They can't stand it, and you said a mouthful, brother. They can't stand it. That doesn't mean silent treatment by opening your big mouth and cussing him. That means silent treatment by keeping your mouth shut and not speaking to him.
Right.
And you look around and you'll see some stations that were awful noisy that are awful quiet right now. And if you've got any doubts as to how to handle it, contact some of the men in those stations where it has been so successfully used. Gentlemen, in other words, I believe that concludes the...
Now wait, I've got one more.
All right, Mr. Finley.
On these questionnaires, as to your length of service, longevity, rank, number of dependents, extra jobs, regular jobs, pay, what you would expect to get, these are needed for the mediator. A lot of stations haven't turned theirs in. Those of you here that didn't get one, please come forward before this meeting's over or after it's over and sign this thing and fill it out and turn it in. The mediator needs this. We need it for evidence to present. So, please come forward before this meeting is over or after it is over and sign one of these and fill it out. This is that questionnaire that all stations were supposed to have gotten. Thank you.
I have a man here from every station with the exception of 2, right?
No, we've got 3 or 4. Let's see. We've got number 9s, 19s, 22s, 26. 4 stations.
4 stations. I would like one man from each station to pick up one of these slips regarding the Georgia State Firemen's Association and have them signed or give them to the steward of your station so that he can have them signed and get them back into us. Will you do that, please? One man from each station. Yes, sir. Thank you. Do I have a second to it? I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor? You now stand adjourned. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. If there's anything that we can ever do for you in any way, don't you hesitate to call us.
We're not through yet. We've got some more to get to.